Do you know what's crazy? Most people fail not because they don't have talent, not because they don't have dreams, but because they can't do one simple thing: show up every single day. That's it. We live in a world obsessed with instant success, viral moments, quick hacks, overnight transformations. But the truth is, the people who actually make it, in any field, in any era, have one invisible superpower that nobody wants to talk about anymore. It's not motivation, it's not intelligence, it's not even luck, it's consistency. The quiet, unglamorous, repetitive act of showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. That's the difference between who you are right now and who you could be. Because, let's be honest, we've all had those "I'm gonna change my life" moments. You feel inspired after watching a video, reading a book, or hitting a new low. You make a plan, you write goals, and for a week, maybe two, you're unstoppable. Then the spark fades. The excitement dies. You start skipping days. And soon enough, you're back where you started. That's not because you're weak. It's because motivation is temporary, but consistency is eternal. Motivation is the firework. It shines bright, then disappears. Consistency is the sun. It rises every day, whether you notice it or not. And the crazy part? The world doesn't reward those who start. It rewards those who keep going. Take a second and think about this. Stephen King, one of the most successful authors alive, writes every single day. Not when he feels creative, not when the vibes are right. Every day. 2,000 words, no excuses. Jerry Seinfeld, one of the greatest comedians ever, had a rule. He wrote jokes daily and marked an X on a calendar every day he did. His goal? Don't break the chain. That's it. And that small, boring rule, don't break the chain, made him one of the richest comedians in history. This is the thing about consistency. It's boring, yes, but it's the boring things that quietly build empires. See, intensity gets attention. Consistency gets results. You don't need to lift heavy once. You need to lift regularly. You don't need to meditate for hours. You need to breathe every morning. You don't need to write a book in one weekend. You need to write one page a day. It's not what you do once in a while that changes your life. It's what you do daily. The Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. That quote has been around for over 2,000 years, and yet most people still don't live by it. We chase motivation videos when we should be building habits. We wait for inspiration when all we need is repetition. Let's be real. Life doesn't reward passion alone. It rewards persistence. Let me give you an example. Do you know how long Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa? 4 years? 10 years? Try 16. 16 years of small, deliberate brush strokes. Day after day. Perfection in the details. He wasn't in a rush. He was consistent. And here's the irony. The same people who think consistency is boring are usually the ones who feel stuck, lost, or unfulfilled because they're living in cycles of motivation, burnout, guilt, restart. The truth is, consistency is the bridge between goals and results. Now let's talk about why most people fail at it. Because it's not laziness. It's not even lack of discipline. It's a misunderstanding of what consistency really means. People think consistency means perfection. They think if I can't go to the gym every day, I've failed. If I miss a journal entry, I've broken the streak. If I lose focus once, it's over. But that's not consistency. That's obsession. Real consistency is showing up again even after you fall. It's forgiving yourself for yesterday and doing the work today. Let me tell you something. The most consistent people in the world aren't perfect. They're just better at starting over quickly. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said it beautifully. Missing one day is an accident. Missing two is the start of a new habit. Think about that. One mistake doesn't ruin your progress. Giving up after the mistake does. Consistency isn't about being flawless. It's about being faithful. Faithful to your process, your purpose, your practice, even when no one's watching, even when it feels like nothing's changing. Because real change, the kind that lasts, happens invisibly. It's like planting a seed. For weeks, maybe months, you water it and see nothing. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. And one day, out of nowhere, it sprouts. That's how consistency works. Invisible growth that eventually becomes undeniable. You might not see results right now, but one day you'll wake up and realize you've changed. Not overnight, but over time, because you kept showing up. Let me give you a real example of invisible growth. When J.K. Rowling was writing Harry Potter, she was rejected by 12 publishers. She could have stopped after the 5th, or the 8th, or the 11th, but she didn't. She stayed consistent. And that persistence turned rejection into a billion-dollar legacy. If you look at anyone successful, athlete, artist, entrepreneur, monk, they'll all tell you the same thing. Consistency beats intensity every time. It's like the gym. You can't lift weights for 10 hours in one day and expect results. You have to lift for 30 minutes every day. The small reps matter more than the big effort. That's why consistency is so underrated. It doesn't feel dramatic. It's quiet. It's patient. It's almost invisible. But here's the paradox. Everything visible is built by what's invisible. Every transformation you admire, someone's physique, their success, their peace, was built by thousands of unseen, consistent actions. Every overnight success took years of invisible consistency. Let's look at an example. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, had a legendary work ethic. He'd train at 4 a.m. every morning, even on off days. When reporters asked him why, he said, "I want to have a competitive edge. If I train when others are asleep, I'll be twice as good by the time they wake up." That's consistency. Not glamorous, not viral, but powerful. It's self-discipline in motion. Here's something important. Consistency isn't just about habits. It's about identity. When you consistently do something, you're proving something to yourself. You're saying, "I'm the kind of person who follows through." And that identity changes everything. The gym is no longer a chore. It becomes who you are. Reading daily isn't effort. It's identity. Creating content isn't pressure. It's part of your character. Every consistent act is a vote for the person you want to become. And here's the trick. When your actions align with your identity, self-discipline stops feeling like punishment. It becomes purpose. But here's where it gets deep. Consistency isn't just about goals. It's about philosophy. Think of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy built around control and virtue. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, woke up every day and wrote in his journal, even while leading wars, losing friends, and facing betrayal. He didn't write for fame. He wrote for clarity. That's consistency, doing what's right even when no one's watching. He once wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." Every day, he chose consistency over comfort, and that's why his words still guide us 2,000 years later. Think about that. His consistency outlived him. The philosopher Seneca said, "Long is the road through precepts, short and effective through example." That means don't talk about what you'll do. Do it every day. That's why consistency isn't just a habit. It's a moral value. It teaches humility, patience, and faith in the process. Because life doesn't change when you do something once. It changes when you do it until it changes you. Now, let's be honest. Staying consistent is hard. Life gets messy. You get tired, distracted, or discouraged. Sometimes you feel like you're making no progress at all. But that's exactly when consistency matters most. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is filled with boring, repetitive, invisible work. That's the price of transformation. When you hit that wall of boredom or frustration, that's not a sign you're failing. That's a sign you're growing. Because growth doesn't always feel good. It often feels like discomfort, fatigue, or doubt. But the consistent person says, "I'll do it anyway. And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Now let's talk about how to build consistency in real life, practically.
First, start small. The brain loves wins. If you promise to meditate 30 minutes a day and fail, you'll quit. But if you meditate 3 minutes daily, you'll build momentum. Once it's easy, you'll naturally expand. Second, tie your consistency to identity, not outcome. Don't say, I want to run a marathon. Say, I'm a runner. You don't need to read 100 books. Just become a reader. That identity shift makes consistency effortless. Third, remove friction. Don't rely on willpower, rely on systems. Lay your workout clothes the night before. Keep your journal on your desk. Delete distractions. Make the right thing easy and the wrong thing hard. Fourth, track it. Humans love progress. Whether it's a notebook or an app, track your consistency. That visual reminder keeps the streak alive. And fifth, forgive yourself. If you fall off, get back up immediately. Don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. Consistency isn't perfection, it's persistence. Remember, the goal is not to be motivated every day. The goal is to act, even when you're not. Because success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. Let me ask you something. If you simply showed up every day for 1 year, even at 60% of your best, what would your life look like? If you worked on your craft every day, if you trained daily, if you improved just 1% each time, where would you be 12 months from now? It's almost scary to think about, right? Because that's the real power of consistency. It compounds. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. But the same rule applies to personal growth. Tiny daily improvements multiply. 1% better every day makes you 37 times better in a year. That's math, and it's magic. Consistency compounds in silence, but one day it makes a lot of noise. And you'll look back and realize those small steps weren't small at all. They were everything. So if you're watching this feeling stuck, maybe you've tried before and failed. Maybe you feel lost, tired, or hopeless. I want you to remember this. You don't need to change your whole life today. You just need to show up today. That's all. Because the person who keeps showing up wins, always. The most underrated form of self-discipline isn't intensity. It's not passion. It's consistency. Consistency builds habits. Habits build character. Character builds destiny. Every day you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you're building a future you'll thank yourself for. And one day, when people ask you how you did it, you'll smile and say, I didn't do it all at once. I just never stopped. So, whatever your dream is, write that page, make that video, take that walk, learn that skill. Do it again tomorrow and the next day and the next. Because when you're consistent, you don't need to chase success. You become it. Now, tell me, what's one small thing you can do today that your future self will thank you for? Think about it. Then, go do it.